All right. Doing the first non-spoiler Pet Cemetery review. Um, my take on it overall was I'd see it once. I wouldn't pay the ticket price for it, let alone as a any kind of date or event where I would take somebody.
Um, I liked it. Like, if I didn't have it to compare to the first movie, which is one of my favorite movies, I would like it. I probably would have liked it a lot more. But since it's one of my favorite movies growing up, the first one, I'm not about it. Like, out of two thumbs, I'm not even gonna give it, like,
All right. Okay. Well, now jumping into the spoiler part. Right off the bat, um, I thought that the first part of it was okay up until they started showing the the kid in college that got his like hit by the car, his brain bashed in. When they started that point of the movie, I feel like they didn't take advantage of all the stuff that was going on. By the way, that was one of the best effects that was going on out there.
yeah, it was a really good, like, scene. Like, just seeing his brain, like, literally just coming out of his
It's a good
head.
homage to like 80s FX and 70s, people that used to really work hard for that stuff. Corn syrup. Bleh.
But, yeah, anyways. Um,
Um, I feel Church's death was the best climactic part of it, and his reveal was the scariest part of it. That
of
to
the
me,
entire movie?
of the entire movie, yes.
Okay.
Which it should have gone to the little girl dying, but whatever.
Um, but how much can we, like, actually talk about without going into
We're in the
spoilers?
spoilers part already.
Are we?
Yeah,
I feel like that should be, like, part of the anywho's
yeah.
spoilers.
I literally said spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any hoosers. Well, after what is it? What?
What part are you talking? I literally just said Churches was the best climactic and reveal, which it should have gone to the girl, but Church
Um,
got it, and then they started to mess up after the college kids got hit.
I feel like they messed up once Ellie died. But anyways, let's go before that. So there's a bunch of things that I disliked about the movies, like movie way more than I liked. There's the whole Wendigo thing when they're outside, they're talking about the whole Indian
This is
thing.
when
And
Judd explains
Lewis
to him before they bury the cat. He's talking about. He shows him this Native American book, and he's all like,
about the land.
"Yeah, the land," and he's all like, "Yeah, it was sour," and
Eh,
whatever. He talks about the Wendigo, and that's about it. He doesn't explain. If you've never seen it, I, you know, suggest you go and look at it. It's a really good Native American tale. Um, yeah, but they could have explored it a lot more.
Especially, like, if I'm not too sure on what the book, if it's included in the original book, but if it we're going just based off of the original movie, if they're gonna be adding shit like the Wendigo, explore it more. Like, just
Well, I mean,
do more
like
with
they
it.
have you see the Wendigo. He literally pops in. He's like, "Hey, Wendigo over here,"
It's
and
a
that's it.
silhouette. It was just a silhouette.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
anywho's,
he
it
just pops
wasn't.
in.
It wasn't. It wasn't
He wasn't
enough.
scary enough. You know, my dog knows it. Look at it. It wasn't.
It was whatever. But anywho's, so we can also talk about oh god, I was going somewhere. Oh, the Zelda thing. So
It's a big part of our family stuff. The Zelda thing. For me personally, with the first movie, it was okay. It was creepy,
the whole Zelda thing, like,
but
it was just the original movie. Zelda was so creepy, and like she was like just like, oh fuck, like whenever Zelda popped up, like in this new movie, it was just like
it was filler.
yeah, it really was. They could have done more with it. like the whole dumbbell thing. No, not dumbbell, dumb waiter thing. That they were saying like, oh, that's where she died. I don't know if that's how she died in the book, but compared to the original movie, they just could have did more with that. I think that they could have done more with just her like falling down that little shaft and then
I
just
don't think they should have done more with it. I think they should have explained it once, and then that's
not,
it,
not make it
and
perfect.
then add it in as like her fear. But again, what good is it a good scene to the Zelda thing if the actress portraying it just sucked at being traumatized by it?
That's true because she was just like I couldn't like I just
I didn't buy it.
I didn't either. Like she was just like
I didn't buy it. And like, who doesn't talk to their husband that they've been married to for a long time and have two kids already about what's going on? Like the fact that there's not that kind of
dynamic
yeah,
between them.
just you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about the kids and their creepy little weird masks and procession.
Oh,
to
the ritual thing.
Yeah.
I felt like they over exaggerated. I think if we're talking about a country type of town, if they would have been in like some face paints or like maybe some kind of like unordinary clothes, maybe something that showed that they were trying to be ritualistic about it, as normal kids would. I don't think that they would all wear paper mache masks,
Animals.
of animals to go into it, to bury the dog, and let alone the dog being uncovered. I think if they would have just shown like some kind of like, because I'm really fond of like the New Orleans type of way of, the burial kind of stuff. But that's like what I feel they were going to, but it's just the wrong location to add it to. I think if that's the case that they were going to, they should have played it as like, I mean, not to sound weird or anything, but they're white people. They've heard the Native American legend, so they would have like kind of tried to mimic it. That's my take on it.
Well, I don't know. I just think that they tried to make it too creepy
Yeah.
and it just didn't work. But moving on to Ellie's death. In the original movie, it was Gage. It was very tragic. Like they did the whole flashback of Lewis, like when Gage is born and just memories. And then when it's Ellie, though, it's because church is in the middle of the fucking
It's
road.
again the star of the death scenes and the thing. Like it was very anticlimactic, and to say that girl did an awesome job of portraying a little girl, but of portraying a dead zombie person, creepy kid, just complete trash. I don't know. I didn't like it.
You can't call a little girl trash.
I didn't say she's trash. I said her acting as a dead person was trash.
Okay.
Granted, you're gonna say, "Oh, Jay, why are you being so tough on this little girl?" You know what? If that kid could be creepy, like the no fair part in the original thing was just, you can't.
Yeah, like
You-
that's what you remember. Like out of all of it, out of all the original movie, all I can remember is Gage saying no fair.
No fair,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, if she would have been a teenage girl, which is, I think that's where they messed. Not teenage, like a preteen
Yeah.
girl. I
She's
mean,
9.
yeah, like you could have. It could have been creepier, but at the same time, you kind of like pigeonholed yourself and how creepy she could be. And then they had the ballet thing, which I think they could have explored a little bit more to make it creepier, but they didn't.
Well, I thought. Well, we'll get to that point. So, anywho's, Ellie dies. They bury her. Rachel and Gage go to Rachel's family.
I just want to point out the dude went Pill Cosby on him and drugged him. Hashtag surviving Cardi B. But yeah,
Well, anywho's. So Lois digs up Ellie, takes her to this sacred burial ground, and buries her there. And like, you know what?
that's where you see the Wendigo, where he
Yeah.
comes out and he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, he's just there in the background, like not
Literally
being-
just mowing his lawn or
yeah, like he's not
watering
being
his
creepy.
flowers.
He's not being creepy at all.
It's just like a mouth breathing kid.
Exactly. But anywho, so he buries Ellie, and I feel like that's the only time I actually felt bad was like when he's covering her face.
No, because honestly, the point that would have sold it to you was where he had to unbury her.
Oh, like when she's in the original graveyard?
Yeah,
Or
because that's, as a parent, that's where you gotta think. That's where you really gotta sell it, because you literally have to like unbury your kid, and you put her to rest, and you have to see her all over again to bring her back. So yeah, that's where I think they messed up.
well,
But
anywho's. Well, so Ellie comes back, and for some reason,
anticlimactic comeback.
yeah, it really was. So she comes back. One of the first thing Lewis does is give her a bath, and like he's brushing her hair, and like he's having trouble. Like I don't know if it's because I'm a girl with thick hair, but like him just struggling to brush her hair was pissing me off.
The thing was like that he's never given her a bath. That's what it seemed like. Like
Yeah.
I've never given you a bath, but you're dirty as fuck. So I mean, he should have just hosed her down in the front lawn.
But anywho's, so it gives an opportunity to show the staples in the back of her head, and to show that she's dead.
Dead.
Her eyes are all fucked up.
I mean, it's like when you die, when you get mauled up, they're able to Mr. Potato Head you back. But as Toy Story 2 or 3 has taught us, if you stick Mr. Potato Head parts on a tortilla, your eyes will lag, and that's the same effect. If anybody's a Toy Story person and you get that tortilla, Mr. Potato Head, and his face, that's what kind of the equivalent of what she's at.
Well, anywho's. So it goes on to Ellie and Lewis in the bed, and he's realizing he fucked up, but he can't kill his baby. And so, like, when he wakes up, she's doing, like, some fucking psychotic little ballet routine in her...
Very cheesy.
Yeah, in her outfit that she was buried in. He's like, hey, why do you fucking change into that outfit? And then...
Her response is, I'm dead.
yeah, like, she knows she's dead, and... So, I don't know if Rachel and Gage call first, but, like, at some point...
No, they're trying to get a hold of him. He's not answering because he knows it's literally going to be a weird thing. Then the whole Judd thing happens. All basically saying,
I feel like
cutting down to the end. Now, it's all... There's nothing that I can explain to you that's going to really change the story. Okay, boom. We're at the end of it. He's trying to...
No, you're skipping over Judd's death.
Judd's death is nothing.
Judd's death is gruesome.
No, it's not. Like, the original Judd's death is gruesome. This one is not. Him getting his Achilles tendon severed is the equivalent of you watching Instagram video of someone getting clipped in the back of their heel with a cart. And if you experienced it, you'll go, ugh. But that's about it.
I feel like you should mention, though, in the movie, at some point, they show Judd's wife, Norma, like, morph into Ellie's face, and she's talking about how she's in hell. It hints at how Judd may have buried Norma in that sacred burial ground. In the book, Norma was, as far as I've read, Norma was still alive. She was not buried in that sacred burial ground. Now that we're talking about zombies, Lola's growling.
Yeah, she doesn't like zombies at all. There are no zombies in this movie, Lola.
Go get him, baby. But anywho.
But yeah, you know what? That whole thing, like I said, hey, no zombies out there. Yeah, it was terrible. It didn't really add or take away from anything because at that point, Judd was already dying. There was no more character development. So them adding that to it didn't really give him any more character or take away from it. It just was a flop. It just was a chance to add face morphine to a kid. That was about it for me.
Well, anywho's, going back to the house, after she kills Judd, Rachel and Gage are in the house, and she goes Rachel is introduced to this undead Ellie, and she basically denies undead Ellie. She's like, you're not my fucking daughter.
With a very terrible acting.
Yeah, but like as a mom, I just I imagine I could put myself in Rachel's shoes. Like, you're not my fucking daughter. Like, I could see that. And
But I mean,
so,
you could if it was a span of years or months. But this is fresh, so you could be like, "Oh my god, yes!" And like, even if her face was fucked up, you could think like she just got her fucking face smashed in. So this is what's up. But miraculously, like maybe they didn't do the autopsy right. Maybe she was alive this whole time, and we just messed up. Like as a parent going through grief, you'll make anything up to kind of go through it. But she immediately denies it. Then, but this is all for the foreshadowing of mystic elements happening, you know. So the tone is taken where she kind of knows but doesn't know. That's why she rushed back over here. Anyways, uh, it's a bad development of it.
well, anywho's, Ellie ends up murdering her mom, Rachel.
Brutally, I may add that was a very brutal, like
Yeah,
murder
like
scene
Rachel ends up throwing Gage out the window. Lois catches
to save him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ellie's over there fucking stabbing the shit out of Rachel, and like Rachel's last words are, "Don't bury me in the fucking cemetery." And what does this little bitch do? She buries her
Well,
in the cemetery.
in all fairness, her last words to the girl was like, "I'm not your mother.
Yeah,
My daughter's dead." So at that time, he comes in, kind of like tries to save it, and as he kind of is trying to like help her out, because at that time the girl, boom, she's gone. She disappeared in a creepy way. So he's like, "Oh my god, how can I help you?" And he's like, he looks at him directly and says, "Don't bury me in that." And then, bah, he gets knocked out unconscious for like ever. Because like that walk to the pet cemetery is like
it
a
seemed
long,
like a long ass walk.
So he was knocked out for a long time for her to get buried and then brought back to life. All in all, let's get to the ending. They have a scuffle.
Inside of the actual pet cemetery.
He's about to kill his daughter. Zombie mom comes back, kills him. Very anticlimactic. And they go and bury him. And then they all come back to life, and they go get the son, while burning Judd's house.
Yeah, they came back. At one point, they left Gage in the car, and then like when they're coming back, Judd's house is on fire. They come back, the family's all fucked up. They look like a zombie family. They're holding the red gasoline can, and they just show up in front of the car, and Gage is just looking around like, "Hey, that's my family."
And then you hear the bloop bloop, like this guy's had the car keys in his pocket the whole time.
Yeah, like.
I don't know. I mean, again, it was like I said, it's a good for like maybe a cable thing, or if your friend has it or something, but I personally wouldn't spend money on it.
This was like a Lifetime horror movie, basically.
Not even Lifetime. Actually, they
Lifetime's kind of gruesome.
no, but yeah, but they like go real dramatic on stuff. So I felt that that's what was missing in it.
Was the actual drama
of it, because I mean it's essentially, you know, I felt like they had a lot of parts where they were trying to be dramatic, but they just weren't nailing it. Because in the original one, like, the dad is like this doctor and he's seeing dead people, but he's not telling his wife, but they're still really close. And then the wife leaves away and leaves him alone, but she's still concerned. And like you could see the dynamic of it, like especially after the kid dies, you know, they're secluded in the middle of nowhere. All in all, yeah, like I said,
it was an okay movie.
It's a one-time watch movie.
It was a movie that you should not see the original first, because the original is like way better.
I think kids will like it. You know, yeah. I mean that in the most sense, like where you haven't really watched.
That think Annabelle is scary.
Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Momo's a thing, so it could be scary. Maybe, I don't know. All in all, that yeah.
But yeah, that's it. It was again like a fourth of a thumb out of 2 thumbs.
I wouldn't even give it 2 thumbs up. Like I said, I would watch it once on cable, and I probably would change the channels in between, and that was.
That's
But
it.
yeah.
Bye.